Welcome to Digital Marketing for Contractors, a podcast for home improvement contractors to help you crush your lead goals and take your business to the next level. Join us each episode as we give you powerful insights and practical tips on the best digital marketing strategies to help you grow your home improvement business. Let's get started.
Hi, welcome to Digital Marketing for Contractors, where we talk about, guess what? Digital marketing for home improvement contractors. My name is Janet, and I am the founder and managing partner of Fat Cat Strategies. We are in Raleigh, North Carolina, and today I am joined by Caitlin.
Hello.
Hi, Caitlin. Introduce yourself.
I'm Caitlin. I am a partner here at Fat Cat Strategies, full-time account manager. I've been working with home improvement clients for almost 7 years now.
So wealth of experience.
Yes.
So if you've been listening to our podcast for any period of time, you may have noticed that most of the time we are talking about kind of big picture, foundational information. What is digital marketing? What is SEO? What is the role it plays with PPC? All of that was our first 19 episodes. Starting today with episode 20, we are pivoting and we are leveling up. What we are doing is we are intentionally talking about a whole different realm of digital marketing, and it is targeted to those owners of home improvement businesses that have been around for a while in business. You might have multiple locations. You've definitely got a sales manager. You've got multiple sales reps. You may have a call center. The issues and challenges that you have are different from the ones that you had when you were just getting started, and that's what the focus of the next several episodes are going to be about for that level of contractor where you've just gotten to another level, another phase of your business. And so today what we're talking about is growth through acquisition. So You've reached a point and you've decided you are going to purchase another business.
Yes.
It could be for a number of reasons. Maybe you want to expand into another state or another metro area. And so you're going to buy another business that's up and running and take it from there. So we have actually been on the marketing side of this multiple times where our clients have grown through acquisition, and then they bring us the challenge and they say, hey, Fat Cat, I just bought this business. I need to market it.
Yep.
So in this scene, I'm going to play the typical client that we serve.
Surprise.
And Caitlin is going to play the role that she plays every day, which is an account manager.
Yes.
And so let's pretend that I just jumped on a call and I surprised Caitlin by telling her I bought a company in a neighboring state and she didn't even know I was thinking about it.
Absolutely. So there goes your entire prep of a meeting agenda out the window, and you get dropped with some pretty exciting news because, one, that is exciting. Congrats. So I think that's the first thing, if you were to approach me with that, I would obviously be happy for you.
Yeah.
But then what would come would be a series of questions that I'm going to kind of drill Janet on right now, and we'll play this game. So just so you know, we're going to follow up with a bit of resources. So whether you're listening to this, taking notes or not, we are going to have content that you can follow along with to complement this podcast. Yes.
So I just told you I bought a business in a neighboring state.
Yep. Okay.
What do you need to know from me?
Yeah, absolutely. So I definitely need to know what the name of the business is.
You mean the name of the business I just bought?
Yeah, not your current business. Is there a name of a business you just bought?
I'm going to call it, let's make something up, AmazingHomeImprovement.com.
Okay, great. And what does AmazingHomeImprovement.com do?
They install, I'm just making this up on the fly, gutters and solar panels.
Okay. And remind me again where they serve, or where's this company been installing these products?
So let's say in this totally fictional scenario, I'm in Tennessee.
Okay.
And the company I just bought is in Virginia.
Awesome.
Because I wanted to expand into Virginia.
Okay, great. So a couple questions come to mind with that, Janet. One, do you plan on pushing solar and gutters into your existing business and basically merging the two businesses together, or do you want to leave them separate?
That's a great question. I haven't even thought about it. So
that's okay.
Pause. Yeah, I'm recording this scene. This is legitimately a real scenario. Not with gutters, not Tennessee, not Virginia. We have had clients purchase a business. It was a small business. And on day one, when we got on the call and we said, hey, Mr. Client, are you going to leave that business that you just bought separate and market it separately under its existing brand name, or are you going to bring it into your brand name? The answer we got was, I hadn't thought about that.
True. And
so why does that matter? Why does it matter if I haven't decided, am I going to leave it with the brand that it has?
Right.
Or am I going to bring it into my brand? Why does that matter?
Well, I mean, it definitely matters tremendously because we're doing your digital marketing on that side of things, and it's going to impact your website. It's going to impact your SEO. It's going to impact if you're doing PPC, social media, email marketing, and so forth. And I think that's the next portion of some of this is this business you acquired. Do they have accounts with these other platforms?
Right.
So, I mean, I half answered that question in terms of, does it matter to run a separate brand or not? I think that comes back to what is the presence of that current brand.
Right. Does it have a really strong reputation that you would be sort of foolish to walk away from? Is it something that's up and running? It's at cruising altitude.
With hundreds of reviews.
With reviews. It's generating leads. Yep. In that instance, we might tell you,
leave it separate.
If it's a small company that's been run by maybe,
a mom and pop.
It's got a handful of employees and, a smattering of reviews. It's got not a lot of web traffic. They've grown through word of mouth referrals.
Let's merge them.
Then you may want to bring that into your brand. So when we're saying merge, I want to be clear that what we're talking about is from a digital marketing perspective. So from a digital marketing perspective, that first decision is critical about whether or not you're going to leave the company that you bought as is, or are you going to absorb it into your brand?
Right.
Because if you leave it as is, right now you made a decision to support 2 websites, 2 marketing campaigns, 2 Facebook business profiles, 2
Google business profiles,
2 Google business, 2
ad
sets
accounts.
of reviews, 2 ad accounts, 2 of everything.
That's right.
So let's dial into let's assume that we're going to take over. I mean, we could take it one at a time. If we left them separate, what would you need? And then if you merged them, what would you need?
Exactly. So let's go with the scenario okay, Janet didn't know if she was going to merge the companies together. So let's say she decided that she wasn't going to. Janet, do you know if Amazing Home Improvements has an agency or a marketing partner that they're currently working with?
Oh, you know what? That never came up in all of the conversations when I was going to buy them.
So, I mean, in terms of the website
Why
presence,
does it matter if they had an agency?
Well, it definitely matters because we're already involved and we need to figure out if we need to complement what that other agency's doing. And also that agency has probably access to a lot of accounts that now have your business name associated with them, and you want to make sure you have those logins.
Okay, I'm going to pause in this scene.
Yep.
That has also happened, that exact scenario. Client bought a business. The business that he just bought had a freelance. It wasn't a full agency, but it was a freelancer who was managing Facebook and a Google Ads account.
Email marketing.
Well, the owner who just sold, so the guy who just sold his company to our client, failed to tell anyone that he was selling. So everyone that was on his staff and all of his vendors were shocked, hurt, and surprised.
Yep.
So now you've got a situation where you have a freelancer who's like a graphic designer or a social media person who has all of the logins.
Right.
And they're kind of pissed off.
Right.
And scared because they had a client and that client just sold their business.
Exactly.
This legitimate, real scenario actually happened to us. And we had to walk this tightrope where we had to call the freelancer and say, look, we need the logins.
Right.
And go back and forth and back and forth. It ended up working out.
It did, yeah.
But if these conversations had been handled ahead of time, it could have been a smoother transition.
Smoother, faster, I think smoother.
Less complicated.
Yeah, less complicated. But so that's one of the things to think about is, what's the name of the company? Are you going to leave it separate? What's the impact of the brand?
Yeah, if you leave it separate,
right? Who
owns the keys to that brand?
Exactly.
And when we say keys, Caitlin, what are all of the different keys that could be on that key ring if you're going to leave that brand separate?
Well, let's dive into the website first. So your website, your domain name, who owns that domain name?
Again, pause on the recording of this scene. Another real scenario, separate client. I never really knew the whole behind the scenes story, but
which is okay.
We were onboarding with a newly acquired company, and the first thing we wanted to do was migrate the hosting.
Yep.
And the only way we can do that is if we have access to the domain name, and right there we hit a brick wall. The company that our client had just bought, somehow in those negotiations, they didn't really have access to they didn't own the domain name. So they bought the company, but in terms of who was the registrar, the listed owner of that domain name, it wasn't them. So more lawyers got involved.
Yes.
Messy. So these questions may seem trivial, but they're not, because
they've happened.
They've happened. All of these things have happened where, our clients are so impressive, and we're so proud of who we work with, and they're ambitious, and they move fast, and they make big swings for the fences. And I think sometimes when they do that, some of these details, like, hey, who has the login to the domain name? Who has the login to the Facebook business page? Those details get smoothed over.
And it's not as easy as just announcing it to your agency. Hey, we're going to start, promoting shutters and solar in Virginia on a new website. It's not that easy.
Yeah, you can tell us that, but if we literally can't log into a single
platform,
we're dead in the water.
Right. So I think the domain name is really important. That's totally separate from just being able to log in to the website.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. So then then you hit the website. So we've got the domain name. Now we're into the website. How was the website built?
Exactly. I mean, was it a template that's outdated? Was it custom?
Right. Is it about to break? Was it built by some local web development company and it's completely proprietary, and the only people that know how to edit it is a guy named Todd that works out of his guest bedroom?
How would they, I'm just brainstorming out loud, how would the owner know to ask that? I guess
I think what we would love to see happen is we would love to see you, kind listener, go to fatcatstrategies.com, go to our resources section and look for the downloadable PDF that's, the digital marketing questions to ask when you're thinking of buying a business.
Right.
And there's, 20 some questions.
There should be.
How was the website built? Who built the website? Do you own the website? I mean, we talked about owning the domain name. We've seen instances where our clients got into a situation where a website was built by an agency, but the fine print of the contract said that the company didn't actually own the website. So if they leave agency, they have to build a new website because the agency actually owns the domain. We've seen that too. We've seen it where the agency owns the domain name and the agency owns the website. So if you break ties with that agency, everything you've got online is gone.
Do you think it's a red flag if the company you're looking at acquiring cannot answer those questions? Yeah,
I do. I mean, I'm biased because we're sitting here as the owner of digital marketing companies, a digital marketing company. But seriously, if you are, let's take our super fake scenario that you're running a successful company in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and you are going to buy a company, that would be like 300 plus miles away in Richmond, Virginia. And they can't answer a question about who built the website and whether or not they own it.
I know. And I know that. And
I think it's a red flag.
I do. I think so. And I think, your digital marketing partner, agency, whoever it may be, is probably the lowest on the totem pole of people you're thinking about when you're making that decision. But that may be somebody to involve, because you could at least ask, hey, agency, can you do an audit? Can you do a marketing audit on this company? Like, that might be a tip and a trick, just to think through it. So the agency.
That's a great idea, Caitlin. I just actually mimed to her. That's a great idea. Why not just say it? I didn't think of that. Yeah. So if you're thinking about buying a business and you do have an agency relationship, don't keep it a secret.
Right.
Talk to your agency partner and say, hey, go look at this other company.
Right.
Tell me what keywords they rank for. Tell me what kind of traffic they're getting. Tell me who their competitors are. Tell me what you think it would take to promote it if we left that brand as is and maintain the website instead of, pulling it into our brand.
We may even be able to see if it was built with a website, with a build, we may even be able to see how the website was built, maybe,
There's a cool tool called Built With and another one called Wapalizer, where we can look from the outside. We don't even have to have logins, and we can tell you, is it WordPress? Is it Drupal? Is it
Wix?
Is it Wix? Is it Squarespace? Is it a GoDaddy site?
So try to involve your agency if you can. If you can't, I think a few other things to think about as you're making this acquisition. Again, we already hit the nail about all the social media profiles, making sure somebody can give you admin access to those pages. Same thing for Google Ads if they're running that, Google Business Profile, all of those. Make sure admin access can be granted.
Yeah, so I think that's the kind of the more nuanced point,
right?
That if you are asking these questions before the paper is signed, you're not only asking the question, who owns these digital assets? Does the agency own them? Does the seller own them? Then I think you should ask the next question. What is the transition plan after we buy the company to make sure all of these digital components are transitioned in a timely manner to you, the buyer.
Right.
And timely is something that I'm hitting on because, we've just seen so many crazy scenarios. We've seen clients acquire a business and then there's just no sense of urgency on the seller's part because now they're on a fishing boat and they're living their dream, doing whatever they want to do. They just sold, and we literally cannot track them down to give us something simple like a password. So, spell all that stuff out ahead of time. Maybe even, withhold some payment for the purchase of the company until you get all of the things that you bought. So I think we've talked a fair amount about what we would do from our perspective.
Right.
If you came to us, if you were our client and you said, I bought this company in Virginia and I want to continue to promote the brand as is. What would we do, Caitlin, if we go back to our little pretend scene where I bought this company in Virginia and I say, you know what, they don't really have a big footprint from a marketing perspective, but I love their processes. Their staff is going to come on board with us. They've got a great production manager. They've got a great general manager. They've got a building that I just bought. Mm-hmm. But all the marketing, it's going to be our brand name coming from Tennessee going into Virginia. How does that change your strategic approach from a digital marketing perspective, knowing that now you're basically expanding from Tennessee into Virginia?
Again, super exciting. I think the opportunity, you already have a successful business. You've made the decision to purchase another business. If you're expanding, I'm hoping that's because you're riding on the backbone of reviews and a reputation that you've built, a strong customer base that you can continue to market to about the expansion. So things to think about. I think we would hit the ground running and do another series of audits in terms of search volume in that location for specific those specific services, help build out a new keyword map for your SEO plan and SEO content expansion in terms of location pages and so forth.
So all of that is stuff that you would add to my current website that I already have up and running in Tennessee.
Yep.
So you're basically using my current website to tell the world,
that's exactly.
Hey, we're in Virginia now with these services.
That's exactly right. Yep.
What do you think? Is it still important that we get all of those passwords that we just talked about?
Oh, gosh, yes. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you're going to want to make sure nobody's hacking those other, sites. You've got control over them. You can shut them down.
Yeah, I think there's a series of decisions. Like, let's say there was a brand name, but it just wasn't very well known. It was a small mom and pop shop, really solid employees, but you're going to take it to the next level. If you don't button that stuff down,
right,
then you're leaving a loose end open where, and believe it or not, we've actually seen this happen, where the seller sold their business and then wanted to maintain their original name and keep doing business as that name in maybe a neighboring metro area.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, that's part of your negotiation. If you buy this business, how are you going to feel if that seller turns around and continues to promote the name of the business that you just bought? All of those, that's marketing. I feel like I'm kind of drifting into the lane of like legal stuff, but it's marketing. And I think it's conversations you need to have before you sign the paperwork.
Agreed. I think that covers kind of the big picture of the digital.
Digital marketing due diligence.
Yes.
When you are thinking about growing through acquisition. Yes. So if this is something that's on your mind and you are, maybe in the beginning processes, we encourage you to go to fatcatstrategies.com, go to our resources section, and we have a downloadable PDF with a checklist on this topic. Yes. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you join us for another episode.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Digital Marketing for Contractors is created by Fat Cat Strategies. For more information, visit fatcatstrategies.com.